You know when you walk into someone's apartment and it's grayish, not gray, not beige, grayish. And they go, yeah, I just wanted a calm, simple, and neutral vibe. But let's be honest, no you didn't. You're just scared of commitment. Because here's the truth. Most people decorate like they're trying not to get caught. You're decorating so quietly, so softly, that if your apartment was a person, it would whisper, sorry, every time someone walked past it. And the reason behind it is simple. You're scared to be perceived. You think that if you hung up a bold piece of art, your friends are gonna stage an intervention like, oh my god, Cooper got a rug with color in it, he's spiraling. But at the end of the day, nobody is going home thinking about whether or not you chose a colorful lampshade. If you don't know, my name is Cooper, and of course today we're gonna be talking about how you're afraid to decorate your apartment with your own personality. I like to call this phenomenon the don't look at me aesthetic. It's when everything in your home is the color of sad oatmeal. Your decor consists of things that could double as a prop in a dentist's office, and most of the time you're buying things that are labeled as aesthetic. Let's psychoanalyze for a second and think a little bit deeper. We decorate our spaces safely for the same reason that we'll wear a boring outfit, because we're scared of liking something that's different. But here's the truth. Nothing interesting that you love will ever feel safe at first. Sometimes it'll feel like too much, or too weird, or you feel worried that your mom is gonna make a comment. And I know what you're saying. Well, Cooper, I don't want to commit because I'm gonna move in 6 months. How many years have you been saying that in a row? 5 at least? Sounds about right. At this point, your apartment isn't temporary, your mindset is. And you'll never enjoy a space if you're always thinking about the next one that you're gonna move into. There is removable wallpaper, peel and stick tile, and paint for a reason. There is rental safe upgrades that are available to you. You just don't want to put in the work. And when I say to bring personality into a space, a lot of people make the assumption that I'm telling them to just like paint an accent wall. We've moved on from that. Accent walls at this point are just a cry for help. I'm talking about incorporating color with meaning. You could use colors that are really important and relevant to you. It could be incorporating a warm terracotta because you really love the desert, a moss green because it reminds you of nature hikes you took when you were a kid, a deep brown because you're drawn to darker, moodier spaces. Color should come from memory and not trends. Having a personality in your home does not mean hoarding 17 different little tchotchkes and calling it maximalism. You don't need 85 candles, 45 throw pillows, a random ceramic duck, or a fake plant that's so big that it should be paying rent. Because personality means choices. It means intention. It means picking one thing that actually makes you feel something instead of picking 12 little things that don't. I also think a lot of us face this big pressure to choose an aesthetic. Like you're somehow forced into picking one vibe off of TikTok and devote your life to it. But you don't need to categorize your space as one thing for you to love it. Because as people, we are not just defined as one thing. You don't need to be clean girl. You don't need to be cozy forest. And you certainly do not need to be coastal grandmother core. Your home can incorporate layers, so this could mean, wood tones and metal. You can have cozy and edgy at the same time. Because you're a person with more than one personality trait. You know what I mean? Well, at least I hope. And you might be saying, I don't really know what my personality is. How do I figure this out, Cooper? What should I be incorporating into the space? And I totally get it because, not everybody has a solid identity of who they are at all times. It's something that fluctuates throughout your life. But I thought I could break down some practical ways to show how to incorporate your personality into your interiors. I usually like to start with adding one item that has a story, something that matters to you, something that doesn't have a target end cap. I mean, for example, in my home, I have this really cute little ceramic cat, but it's super cute. I got it in Sicily when I was walking down, one of the main streets in Palermo, and I walked into this little ceramic shop and I thought, oh my god, look how cute these little sculptures are. And I chose one that really spoke to my personality and that I was really drawn to, and I brought it home with me, and it's something that means so much to me in my home now. You can also choose something that's a little bit more bold and something that might scare you a little bit. It could be a weird lamp going with a statement rug, or a piece of art that makes you say, is this ugly or perfect? Because if you're not slightly afraid of one decision that you made in your home, I can tell you that you didn't go for it enough and that you are not going to love your space. Because I've said this a million times and I will say it again, the most well done designed spaces take the most risks because you're not going to build anything groundbreaking or interesting or unique off of the same grayish living room being reproduced over and over and over again. It's just not going to happen. And you guys, Please stop buying filler decor. It's a waste of your money. Because I swear to God, filler decor is the popcorn ceiling of a personality. Why do you need a little beige orb or a hollow vase or decorative chains on your coffee table? And don't even get me started on the faux books trend. If you really love one of those things, go ahead, but you need to stop relying on them for your personality because it's just not. It's not. One of my favorite concepts when it comes to spicing up your space a little bit is using micro weirdness. This is something that I came up with and I love to use in all of the spaces that I design because I always find that it creates a really layered environment. It's when you add something weird but in a subtle way. It could be a really fun lamp in an otherwise standard space. Maybe a slightly odd vintage painting. A piece of pottery shaped like something a little bit silly. Something that makes your guests go, huh? Not what is that? Just huh? And really starts a conversation. Because at the end of the day, a home with personality isn't about the stuff. It's about the feeling that the space evokes. It feels warm, it feels intentional, and it feels most of all like somebody actually lives there. It shouldn't feel like a hotel room, because that's just where emotions go to die. It should feel like your brain lives there, not the version of you that submitted your college applications, the version of you that is the real you. So if your apartment feels like a furniture showroom curated by somebody who fears eye contact, this is your sign. Stop hiding, stop decorating like you're trying not to disturb the peace, and start decorating like somebody who actually has a pulse. You are a human being and you are multifaceted, so that should be reflected in your space. And I'm not saying you need to turn maximalist overnight or anything like that. Just add one choice that really feels like you. And if your mom makes a comment, you can tell her that I approved it. Let me address the elephant in the room. Yes, we are now in a different room. Unfortunately, my cat kept trying to attack the tripod. Yes, I know it's a weird layout. Just roll with the punches here. So I'm gonna take you guys on a little bit of a field trip. So we're gonna go through a really great example of how you can get personality wrong in a space and how to do it right. We all move into our first place and kind of go into it a little bit naively. We might buy things too fast or not be intentional enough about our purchases, and it leads to a space that feels disconnected and a little bit discombobulated. And yeah, that was completely me. I'm not afraid to admit it. I've learned a lot since then, and that was definitely a big experience for me. I moved into my first apartment and thought, okay, great. I have so many different ideas, so many different things that I really love, and I just want it all to come together in a space. And while I had the right idea there, I just didn't have the execution on par. I rushed into buying a couch. It wasn't horrible, but it also wasn't great, and it kind of creaked when you sat on it, which I mean is a little bit suspicious. And this couch in particular, it was nice, it was fine, it was definitely, functional. But did I love it? No. And I kept making those decisions in regards to things that I supposedly needed at the time. When in reality, if I had just waited things out a little bit, I would have ended up loving that apartment so much more. Great design is something that also comes with patience. You need to not be afraid to say, no, let me hold off for a couple more months and invest in something that I really love instead of jumping to instant gratification and ordering something cheap off of Amazon. Because trust me, it's not worth it. Another great example of this is in my old apartment. I was sleeping on a mattress on the floor for months and months and months, and I finally decided, okay, I'll get a bed frame. And the bed frame I got, it was from Wayfair. It was fine, it was functional, but it just kept getting worn down, and I had only had it for a couple months, and I had to eventually sell it because it just wasn't good quality. Now I'm at a point in my life where I fully understand that waiting is something that is very powerful. I recently moved into my new home last July, and I absolutely love it here. But is it even close to done? Absolutely not. I haven't finished painting, I haven't finished getting furniture, and a lot of things need to still be swapped out and flipped around. But you know what? That's okay. It's okay to not be happy with your space right now, as long as you understand that it's a process. It takes time, and your space isn't instantly born with personality. I think that we see this a lot when it comes to shelving decor specifically, like we were talking about earlier with the faux books and the fake plants and, all the little home goods knickknacks that people put all over their floating shelves. They don't mean anything. They don't add anything. It honestly just makes your apartment look like the leasing office for the building. Like, it just doesn't look good. Get little things, as you go. Because if you fill everything instantly, then what happens when you're out and about and you come across a beautiful ceramic store and find that cat? Now it has nowhere to live because the space is taken up by some useless junk. It's just not worth it at the end of the day. It will waste your time, your money, and most of all, it won't make you feel satisfied with your space. Filling your space with things you don't like and being uncomfortable with that for a long time is much worse than waiting things out and investing in things that you really love. And by no means am I talking about spending thousands and thousands of dollars here. You just have to wait for your opportunities to come. No, Facebook Marketplace isn't going to magically be wonderful colorful every single time you open it up. But once you get in the habit of checking it, once a week or every couple days, you'll come across something that you really love for a good price. Take this room for example. Behind me, we don't have much. We just have, this painted wall, we've got some plastic blinds and a plant. Like, things are not finished in here, and that is okay. And you shouldn't have to feel worried about other people judging your space because it's not complete. Because yes, interior design is something that is a little bit more frivolous and not necessarily necessary in the traditional sense, but it definitely can improve your life and make you much happier and much more content on a daily basis. Okay, now back to our other footage. Sorry guys. So I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of homework. Add one thing to your home that really feels like you. You could go around to your favorite local thrift store or just a little shop and pick out something. It could be $5, it could be $50 that you really love. Because if I walk into your home and I can't learn one thing about you within the first 30 seconds, then your space isn't reflecting you. Let me know what you guys think about this. I'm really curious to know, and I love engaging with you lovely people here on YouTube. If you're really struggling with your space, you can always hire me as your interior decorator. I would absolutely love to help you no matter how big or small your space is. There's a ton of really great information about it on my website. There's a new one under construction, just an FYI, but I would absolutely love to help you, and don't be shy. I hope you guys are having a great day, whatever day you're watching this, and I will see you next Sunday because next Thursday is Thanksgiving and I'm going to be visiting some family, so I won't be here. But you will still get your Sunday video, so don't worry. Bye!